What's in your recovery kit? Hi, Heavy Metal Fox. So I thought since the weather's been really bipolar, it's been raining and sunshine and then some snow and then some sunshine. Weather's not great. So I don't really want to be outside doing this stuff. So here we are in my house. How do you like my hat today? So yeah, I love this hat. I never get to wear it though because the ears rub on the roof of the Jeep. So hopefully it's not too distracting for this video. It probably will be, but try to stay focused to the words and not the ears. So we're in the house talking about recovery kits. So what's in your recovery kit? I'm gonna go over what's in mine. Some of you already know I am a trainer for the Four-Wheel Drive Association of BC. So what I train is things like recovery gear, how to recovery safely, off-road driving skills. So these are the things that are in an off-road trainer's recovery kit. There are some things that are really important for you to have in your recovery kit, things like soft shackles. But if you do wheel in groups like most of us do, you don't necessarily have to have everything because usually someone in your group or everyone's got a little bit of something. So people will put together what they have. It might be a good idea to mark your name down on your gear, maybe even put your phone number on it. Things do get lost, especially if it's snowy or muddy. And then when the weather clears up or dries up, someone might find your shackle, and hopefully if they're nice enough, they'll call you. So you do need to have things like minimum brake strength rated on your gear also for safety. I'm not going to go too much into that information because there are training courses like the Wheeling Wisely course that we do that gives you more information, and I could get really in depth and this video could go really long, and really all I want to show you is the essentials of recovery gear kits. So let's just get into that. So, first thought about recovery kits would be your cases. How are you carrying your stuff around with you? I know people who carry them all in hard bins, and if you've got the space for that, fantastic, but I have a Jeep Wrangler and not a lot of room. I really love these waterproof kits, and I should maybe mention that everything that I have for recovery, unless it was given to me by somebody else, comes from Freedom Recovery Gear, and that's Richard. He's actually a friend of mine. He makes all this stuff. I don't think he made these bags. He probably ordered these bags, but he takes really good care in picking his distributors, so he gets good quality stuff. So you can't go wrong with Freedom Recovery Gear. Usually when I find a company that I know has good stuff, I stick with them, because if you stray and try somebody new, you're likely to be disappointed. So if you know it's good, just stick with it. Either way, this is what I like. And his gear, these bags, come in lots of different colors. I love that they're bright colors, not only because it's fun, but people know it's your gear, so they're never going to confuse your bright pink bag or your lime green bag with their black hardcover case. And these ones are waterproof, and they're really neat because they have lots of little pockets and stuff. They have these mole things on the side you could attach things to. They also have these mesh things inside. I usually keep my air deflators in here so that I can quickly spot them. And also I love that they have these little label pouches. So another thought too is these bags come in small, medium, and large. These are the medium bags. The small bags obviously are not going to be big enough for your gear. However, they would be pretty good, I would think, for first aid kits, which I'll get into in another video. But if you get too big, your bag gets to be the large size, you fill them with all this gear, and this gear gets heavy. So this one, my green bag, I already broke the strap, the shoulder strap on it, because it got really heavy, and then I split my gear into this other bag. So I split up my gear, plus it was easier to find stuff in two bags. It's easier to carry, you're not going to damage your bags or hurt your shoulder carrying equipment around. So, and for finding stuff quickly, have you ever noticed that when you're on a trail, everyone is in such a hurry? So if you can't grab your soft shackle fast enough, someone else is going to get theirs. So mine are labeled. I have my shackles and snatch blocks, all the heavy stuff, in this bag. And this one, I have my recovery straps, winch line extenders, soft. Oh, he was just thrown in here by accident. He should have been in this bag with my shackles. Oh, he's still wet from the last thing that I was doing. And yeah, so this one is, oh gosh, someone, was this a gift to me? Oh God, it's a Ranger. Probably shouldn't have shown you that label. I do not recommend Ranger, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Okay, so so that is, oh, and this one's Rhino. My friend Miss Shady gave this to me for Christmas. At least it's green. I think Rhino is actually pretty good. Anyway, that's what's in my bags. Oh, and this one. I love this bag. This one's my favorite. You know why? Because my favorite piece of recovery gear is in this. I've probably said it in other videos. Can you guess what it is? Oh, look at that. Kinetic rope. Yeah. My very favoriteest. Because I use it all the time. It gets the most play. Super effective. Look how thick that is. Yeah, that's good stuff. Also Freedom recovery gear. Waterproof, bucket, collapsible. I just use it for my kinetic rope. And recently I acquired a whoopee sling. I think they call them something else now, but do you know what a whoopee sling is? So this is a really long rope, but it actually can tuck back into itself. So it's like a line extender that can go long or short. You can maybe some of them are still called whoopee slings. This one is an adjustable speed sling. As you should have in all of your kits, gloves. Obviously, out on the trail when you need to do recovery, you should always have gloves. Ropes can pinch your skin, grab your fingers. You'd rather pull a glove off rather than your skin. So have some gloves on. As we like to say, cut these off, because if your gloves get caught in, say, a winch line that's going back in, they can get caught and pull you with it if it's too tight on your wrist. So if you just cut these off so they're not too tight. Mine are actually fine. After I just say that, because mine are really stretchy. One of my fellow trainers actually tried to use me as a demo to show what happens if your fingers or your gloves get snagged. And he grabbed my gloves and tried to yank them. They just came right off my hand. So do as I say, not as I do. Okay. All right. So soft shackles are a must. Have at least 2 of them. You lose these things. They get lost. They end up in other people's kits. You do a recovery. Someone needs to do another recovery with possibly using your gear because you're at the end of the line. You're not close enough. And someone else doesn't have soft shackles. So you might lend out some stuff. And it could end up in the back of their vehicle for the rest of the ride. Or maybe until the next time you see them because you forget to get it back. I always like to have 2. It seems like I'm always using 2 on a trail because someone's got one of them. And I got to collect it at the next trail ride. So soft shackles, there's a variety of different sizes. You would be shocked how strong those things are. This is Factor 55, so this is also good quality. Factor 55 was purchased by Warren, so you can never go wrong with anything Warren. It also has a strength label on it, so you always want to look for that in your gear so that you know that it's going to be good quality, what the minimum break strength is. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but as long as you have these tags, that's good gear. So if you're buying gear and you find something affordable, you just want to build up your kit, if there is no label on it, it's probably not going to be very good gear. They won't ensure the quality of their gear if they don't put their name on it and a label that tells you when it's going to break on you. Look for labels, and labels do fade and wear off, so reinforce them if that's happening. Hard shackles. So these guys are usually hanging off the front of my Jeep, off the bumper. So when I needed them this past winter, I wasn't able to actually get to them because, as you see, it got a little bit of rust on it. So it was sort of like rusted, and it was so cold on that trail. It was snowy. I couldn't get this off. And I was doing a recovery on an XJ. I had very sharp recovery points inside the hooks. So I really needed this. And I couldn't get it off of my Jeep because it was like almost frozen on there. It's nice if you have a screwdriver that you can push through here to kind of torque it. But in a pinch or in a hurry, you might not just have that on hand quickly enough. So have them inside your vehicle. Hanging off your vehicle means they could get frozen, could get stuck, hard to get off when you need them. I always carry a spare set of gloves because there's always people out there who never have gloves on them. This is a pulley block, also commonly referred to as a snatch block. So this actually has another name, a more professional name, which is the swing cheek pulley block. Because these 2 things are the cheeks and they swing open so that you can put your line through there and head it back to its pull point. So yeah. A pulley block or a snatch block, if that's what you want to call it, is good to have in your bag. So there in this bag you see I have several soft shackles. I have a couple hard shackles. This is a soft shackle. I think this was actually meant for an ATV. Oh yeah, my boyfriend got this for me for Christmas. I think this is for ATV or side-by-side because this looks too small for Jeep recovery. I could be wrong. The line goes through here. These soft rubber teeth are supposed to hold it in place. That's not holding anything in place. I could very easily see, especially if the line goes slack for a moment, the line popping out of here and onto here and causing a friction burn that might break this. So I don't know that this is actually very good to have for a Jeep. Also in my kit, newly acquired, is a Tommy block. This is a hybrid soft shackle with a swing cheek pulley block attached to it. I haven't had to use this yet. It's pretty heavy duty. I love that the strength, the angle strength is engraved on it. I'm going to avoid getting too much detail here for you. I'm tempted. So either way, this would be awesome when I need to help save a much bigger vehicle than myself. Dodge Ram comes to mind. Next, line and strap bag. Oh, you go there. Okay, this is a tree saver. Everyone should recognize one of these. This is something you probably should have in your bag because especially if you wheel alone, because if there's nobody out there to hook up to, or you're not in a position that someone else can get to, or you just need to get to a tree. This is nice and wide, so it's going to distribute the weight of the pull from the vehicle on the tree, so you're not damaging it. So every time you're using a line, like say a line like this around a tree, this is going to cut into the bark, and that's essentially just going to kill the tree. The more trees that we kill along paths, we just destroy nature, and that's what we're out there to enjoy. And the more we do that, the more people start to hate us, and we don't want that reputation. So be kind to nature, be kind to your vehicle. You need a tree saver. Okay. Try to take care of your gear too. You see how mine is nice and clean, folded up, taken care of? It lasts longer. This stuff is expensive. Take care of it. Up next, my winch line extender. I have a really long one and I have kind of a short one. So this one I pretty much just use as a bridle when I need to do a double line pull. It's super handy. I will attach this to 2 separate points on someone's bumper with a pulley block in the middle here with probably this guy, double line pull from my vehicle to the winch back again to a second attachment point. Trying not to go into too much detail. Kind of hard not to when I normally teach this stuff. So a long winch line extender, a shorter winch line extender that you can use as a bridle. Bridle is super important. Always double line pull when you can. Safest way to be. A tire repair kit. Let's see if I can open this with one hand. I've never needed to use this. Oh man, I do not want to take this out. Okay, inside this kit is a quality tire repair kit. There's probably one piece that's important that I should show you. Hang on. Alright, I don't really want to take it out of the bag because I haven't needed it yet and I want to just keep everything clean and dry. But I am trying to show you this poker. Mine is full body metal. That is important because some of the cheaper kits, maybe from Canadian Tire, have a plastic handle up here with the metal poker down below. So you have to really apply some force when you're poking through a tire so that you can get the wax plug into it. What do you think happens when you're applying that much force to a plastic handle? It can break through and jab you in the hand. That's not a good time. Really try to get one with a metal handled body, like a solid metal body. That's my tip for a tire repair kit. And the other thing that was in my kit also is these tire deflators. There's 4 in this little pack. They're pretty cool. They just, you've seen these. I guess if you haven't seen these, this is what they are. So they're like, that's it. That's all they are. They screw onto your valve stems and they deflate your tire. So when I bought these, they were pre-calibrated for 15 PSI. That gets changed all the time. This little spinny piece here is a guard. So you spin the top piece to determine how much air you want to let out. I'm not going to go into calibrating these, but let's just say very handy, saves you a lot of time, and airing down, your friends will get mad at you while you're waiting with your little tire deflator on every single tire. Everything else in my recovery kits is in the vehicle. There are things that don't really fit into little bags and carrying cases like this. So we're talking about the air compressor. I don't have a big fancy air compressor. I think I get teased a little bit because I've got a lot of gear and I've got a pretty cool vehicle, but I've got the standard $99 discounted, what are you? It's a Canadian Tire Special. I forget what the brand is, but it's nothing special. It's not the fastest inflator. It's not the slowest inflator, but Say what you want. I have been wheeling with people who have those 4 hoses. I think the one lady had an ARB double tank 4 hose. It did all 4 tires at once. So I had all my tires done and still had to wait for her to finish up probably the equivalent of 1 whole tire. So just because you have those double tanks with the 4 hoses doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go faster. It might mean it frees up your hands so you can go visit and have a beer in the meantime. That's not the worst thing either. My biggest thing is I don't have a lot of room in the Jeep. So I also sleep in my Jeep when I'm off-roading for days. I don't want a lot of gear. My friend Machete, he's got one of those tanks with all the hoses, but he's got this giant box that he has to keep it all in. I don't have room for stuff like that. So I'm very happy with my slow single $99 compressor. But that also, you need one of those. Get yourself a compressor, because once you air down, what are you gonna do? I also have traction boards. I don't think traction boards are necessarily a requirement for a recovery kit. Nice to have, but that's also one of those things that usually somebody else has. If you can't afford them, or you just don't have the space, or you haven't gotten around to it yet, don't sweat it. Someone else probably has it. And quite honestly, if you've got a winch, that's probably the best way to go anyway. A shovel. We will tell you the most important thing in your recovery kit should be a shovel. I didn't bring my shovel in here to show you, but I do have one. I do have an axe also, so that you can use, again, if you don't have a recovery board, maybe you could chop up some wood, throw it underneath your tires. Lots of uses for axes. And arguably, a recovery kit essential is also a first aid kit, but I feel like that's another discussion. So yeah, that's my recovery kit. So let's quickly burn through that. True Saver. Tire repair kit. I recently at a BCOR saw a sidewall repair kit. I did not know there was such a thing. This is for like your tread. I have a friend, JT actually, who when we were at BCOR, he bought that sidewall repair kit, and it was like 6 months later he actually did need it. Yeah, so that came in handy. I might pick one of those up. A short winch line extender that I can use for a bridle. A long winch line extender. Winch lines really are not that long, so you need an extender. Tire deflator. Whatever you choose to use, there's lots of different ways to deflate your tires. I recently saw a guy on a trail who had this really cool, these cool ones that were just permanently attached to his valve stems. That he uses a special tool that comes specifically with these little valve stem attachments, so they can't be stolen. And they just stay on there, and he just like pops them up to deflate and pulls them down, and you can screw a compressor onto them to re-inflate your tire. What's that guy's name? Dante. Dante, what did you have? Tell me. I need to know. I want that. Okay, so that's what we have in my Line Straps True Saver Tire Repair Kit bag. Label your bag. My Shackle Snatch Blocks bag. I usually keep my gloves in this bag because it's usually the first bag that I grab, because most of the time it's not a major recovery that I need to do. So a shackle and my winch is all I really need in most cases to perform that recovery. Keep them in the first bag that you typically would open to grab the first piece of essential gear you use the most, so that they're right there in your face, right on top of everything. So when you see that, you're like, oh yeah, right, gloves. Then you can't say, I didn't have time or I was in a hurry, because they were there on top of that essential piece of equipment you were going for anyway. I am a registered massage therapist. I can't be hurting my hands, and you shouldn't either. Don't hurt your hands over something so simple as just grabbing a pair of gloves. All right, gloves, soft shackles, pulley blocks, or snatch block, whatever you want to call it. I don't care, just have it. And hard shackles. Hey, do you know why you need soft shackles and hard shackles? Okay, I'll give you a little bit of training here. So a lot of the newer vehicles have recovery points on them that are like nice with soft rounded edges. So for those, you can use a soft shackle. For some of the older vehicles, like my friend Wheels, who has an XJ, his recovery points are very sharp edged. If you were to use a soft shackle on one of those, likely you're gonna cut into the cords on it and compromise the integrity of that shackle, and now it's no good. You just can never trust it again. So always have a hard shackle on hand for the instances where the recovery point has hard edges. Okay, so you don't wreck your gear. Soft shackles for when you have those nice soft rounded edges. Oh, and if they go flying through the air, a soft shackle is far safer than a flying hard shackle. So whenever you're able to use a soft shackle, use a soft shackle. Last but not least is the kinetic rope, my very favoriteest thing. Some people might say that the kinetic rope is an essential need for your recovery kit. I would disagree. I really love my kinetic rope. I use this more than probably any other piece of equipment, other than my winch. I guess I use my winch the most, but well, no, maybe 50-50, because a lot of times all you need to do is just give that guy the tug. You don't necessarily need to hook up your controller, unspool your winch, that whole 9 yards, when you just grab this guy and throw them on the two vehicles. So whether you choose to use a kinetic rope or not, I would say it's a good thing to have in your kit, but you will use it a lot. So do what you want with that. I say go get one. There you have it. That was my what's in my recovery kit video. So things that I don't have in my house to show you that are definitely essential would be like your shovel, compressor. I do think another essential recovery tool would be a winch. Not everyone has the space on their vehicle or can afford the winches, and that's fair. Like I said before, if you're wheeling with people, someone in your group will have a lot of these things like a winch. For sure, someone in your group has got a winch, trust me. In my kit, you saw that I also had the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, adjustable speed sling. I still like the name Whoopie Sling. I'm probably just going to call it a Whoopie Sling. That might not necessarily be an essential need for your kit. It's just what I have. Yeah, that's all I got. What have you got? What's in your recovery kit? I'm super curious to see what other people have. What do you think is an essential recovery kit item? If you are going to share some tips for me, can you post a picture with it? I love to see what you have, what you're using. I love to get ideas from people, especially if you know that piece that attaches permanently to your valve stem that deflates your tires that I was mentioning earlier. If you know what that is and where I can get one, please share a link. Thanks, guys. As you can see, I'm very low budget. I don't have a cool shop to film videos and stuff in for you. Ideally, I'd be out in nature doing this stuff. I think that'd be way cooler, but it is cold outside. So I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing it for fun and because I love this stuff. I really love this stuff. And I'm hoping to share this with people who love also. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't like to see all the likes and subscribes, because it definitely makes me feel like I'm reaching people and people like what I'm doing. So if you do like what you see and you like to see these very homegrown, simple, low budget videos that I do, please like and subscribe. It'll keep me going. If I know you guys are interested, I'll keep filming. Thanks, you guys. Mwah! Happy wheeling!